Picture this, a gleaming jumbo jet rolling toward the runway, its livery whisper shouting, United States of America, in sky blue block letters. It's not just a plane, it's the White House with jet engines, a mobile nerve center that can cross an ocean without ever blinking. But why does a president really need this airborne palace? Buckle up, because what Airfroce One was really for goes way beyond comfy leather seats. First, let's strip away the glamour. Above everything else, Airfroce One exists to guarantee continuity of the presidency, no matter where, no matter what. Elections can wait, but a nuclear launch code can't. That single mission shapes every bolt, every window pane, every secret onboard gadget. Sounds dramatic. It is. But the story starts long before Wi-Fi and bulletproof glass. World War II, 1943. German U-boats are prowling the Atlantic, turning Allied shipping lanes into underwater shooting galleries. Franklin D. Roosevelt needs to meet Winston Churchill face to face, but crossing by ship could mean a torpedo-ridden grave. So, FDR climbs aboard a lumbering Boeing 314 flying boat nicknamed the Dixie Clipper. Cramped, noisy, and hardly luxurious, it gets the job done, just barely. Yet that flight plants a seed. The commander-in-chief must have safe wings. Flash forward to post-war America. Aviation booms, commercial skies buzz with Douglas DC-6 aircraft and Lockheed Constellations. Presidents begin hitching rides on modified military transports, better than nothing, but every takeoff feels like rolling the dice. Which brings us to a radio call that almost changed history. Eisenhower's first term, 1953. A presidential aircraft designated Air Force 8610 shares airspace with a commercial Eastern Airlines flight numbered 8610. Air traffic control scopes blur. For a heart-stopping second, two pilots think the same call sign is theirs. One wrong reply could have stitched the president into a mid-air collision headline. The Air Force scrambles a fix. Whenever POTUS is aboard, his bird will answer to one unmistakable name, Airfroce One. Crisis averted, brand born. So, what is the current workhorse, the Boeing 747-200BVC-25A, actually bring to the table? To begin with, it can slash through the sky at roughly 630 miles per hour, fast enough to outrun a thunderstorm or the fallout from a rogue diplomatic tweet, while cruising at about 45,100 feet. Above nearly all commercial traffic and out of reach of hostile fighters. A single tank gives it a 7,800-mile range, but aerial refueling lets this flying Oval Office stay aloft for days. Step inside, and you'll find roughly 4,000 square feet, spread over 3 decks. A situation room wired for crisis management, a medical suite stocked with blood that matches the president's, and a galley ready to plate 100 hot meals, even when the cabin is bouncing through turbulence. Beneath the paint lies armor you can't see, EMP shielding, self-sealing fuel tanks, and windows that chuckle at small arms fire. Impressive? Absolutely. Yet every gleaming statistic circles back to one mission: keeping the presidency alive, alert, and online, even if the rest of the world goes dark. Step onto the forward air stair, and you're in rarefied air, literally and socially. The president, first family, and top-tier VIPs board up front under the hard gaze of Secret Service agents who look carved from granite, while reporters and photographers trudge aboard via a rear staircase, juggling carry-ons stuffed with camera batteries and caffeine tablets. 2 doors, one unwritten rule. The nearer your seat is to the nose, the nearer you are to power. Inside, a carpeted corridor angles forward between walnut veneered walls backed by discreet sound dampening. Executive office meets hardened bunker. The aircraft's roughly 4,000 square feet are carved into purposeful zones. Up top sits the cockpit and a compact crew rest nook, so pilots can rotate on marathon missions. The main deck carries the presidential suite, senior staff offices, about 87 business class style seats for aides and press, and center stage, the communications center that keeps the whole flying government wired. Down below are pallets of classified kit, spare parts, and even an elevator assembly used to deploy the president's armored limo on overseas stops. Slip through a soundproof door, and you're effectively in the West Wing at altitude. Racks of satellite modems thrum under red status LEDs. Secure phones branch out like a copper nervous system. With a single encrypted uplink, POTUS can be speaking to the Pentagon, FEMA, or a foreign head of state in under 30 seconds. Scattered within easy reach are handoff footballs, ruggedized briefcases holding nuclear authentication materials, standing by in case the unthinkable stops being hypothetical. Just aft of the Situation Room sits a compact medical suite. Think ER on rails, a defibrillator, ventilator, crash cart, and a stocked fridge of the president's blood type ride-along on every flight. A board-certified Air Force physician is always on the manifest because Airfroce One's unofficial motto is "No surprise emergency landings." The suite's reason for existing became crystal clear on September 11, 2001. Minutes after leaving Florida, President George W. Bush's 747 pivoted north, climbed to 45,000 feet, and became America's flying command post. Fighter escorts joined off each wing. Inside, aides patched phone calls to Cheney in the bunker, while comms officers filtered raw intel feeds. The aircraft remained aloft for nearly 9 hours, proof that the presidency can stay fully functional even when the ground feels like it's on fire. Every presidential trip is a military convoy in disguise. Hours, sometimes days, before Airfroce One lands, C-17 Globemasters leapfrog ahead, carrying the armored Cadillac limo, the Beast, Secret Service SUVs, and pallets of communications gear. On the ground, Air Force engineers rig local power grids to handle secure comms traffic. Above, KC-135 tankers stand on alert to refuel the 747 if a crisis keeps it airborne longer than its 7,800-mile fuel budget. Hungry? 2 stainless steel galleys sprawl across the lower forward cabin. Meals start at a top-secret kitchen inside Joint Base Andrews, where chefs prep ribeyes, vegan bowls, and the occasional Tex-Mex feast. Everything is vacuum sealed, blast frozen, and tucked into giant coolers. In flight, Air Force stewards reheat dishes with convection ovens and, yes, microwaves. One thing you won't find is a deep fryer. Hot oil and turbulence mix about as well as Mentos and cola. So any French fries served at 30,000 feet arrive deliciously soggy-ish. A quirky reminder that even the most advanced jet can't defy every law of physics. Reporters in the rear pay the U.S. Treasury for every mile. No free rides in democracy's showroom. They joke about coach on the world's most exclusive airline, but they know each takeoff could become tomorrow's front-page headline. This bird doesn't just haul presidents, it hauls turning points. Buckle in for a 4-stop time hop that shows Airfroce One's true power isn't horsepower, it's headline power. First stop, Dallas, 1963. The date is November 22nd. Shots crackle across Dealey Plaza. President Kennedy is mortally wounded. Less than 2 hours later, a Boeing 707 tail-numbered Sierra Alpha Mike 26000 sits on the tarmac at Love Field. Lyndon B. Johnson, face tight with shock, raises his right hand in a cabin barely wider than a subway car. Judge Sarah T. Hughes recites the 36-word oath. Jackie Kennedy stands beside him, her pink suit still stained with grief. The jet lifts off moments later, and for the first time ever, America changes commanders while the wheels are still warm. History learns that even national tragedy can't ground the presidency. Second stop, Washington, 1974. Fast forward 11 years. Richard Nixon strides up the air stair, turns, and flashes 2 defiant V signs. Mid-flight, the moment Gerald Ford finishes the oath back in D.C., the cockpit radio drops the call sign from Airfroce One to Sierra Alpha Mike 27000. Just like that, the jet demotes itself. The presidency has a new owner. No amber lights, no ceremony. Just a single phrase over the headset, telling pilots their VIP is now a private citizen at 35,000 feet. Talk about an exit row. Third stop, Havana, 2016. Barack Obama's 747 arcs across the Straits of Florida, touches down in Havana, and snaps a freeze frame nobody predicted during the Cold War. A POTUS hasn't set foot in Cuba since Calvin Coolidge, 88 years earlier. For Cubans, the silhouette of the big blue-white jet is a message the size of a billboard. Doors can open even after half a century of locks. Fourth stop, Kyiv, 2023. Night cloaks the ramp in Poland as Joe Biden boards without press pool or fanfare. The jet lands pre-dawn. From there, an armored train grinds toward Kyiv, where air raid sirens still echo. It's the first modern visit by a U.S. president to an active war zone under hostile missile umbrella. No U.S. troops controlling the ground. Cameras later capture Biden walking alongside Ukraine's president while anti-air warnings wail, a scene staged by Air Force One's reach and secrecy. So, why does the jet itself look like a statesman? Think Raymond Loewy, the industrial design legend Jackie Kennedy tapped in 1962. He ditched gaudy stripes for a clean horizon blue belly, a midnight blue cheat line, and the full United States of America in Caslon capitals that scream confidence without shouting. Within a decade, France, Japan, and even smaller NATO nations repainted their leaders' planes in eerily similar hues. Because soft power is contagious. Jump to 2019. A proposed red-white Navy livery, more patriotic, sure, but also soaking up extra solar heat on the ramp. Air Force engineers warn the darker paint could force heavier air conditioning units, delaying delivery and inflating costs. Verdict: legacy blue wins. Sometimes tradition is the most aerodynamic color. Every touchdown is theater. The air stair becomes a stage, the livery a backdrop, the jet engines a soundtrack that's equal parts might and mic check. Whether it's projecting resolve in Kiev or reconciliation in Havana, Air Force One converts presence into policy long before any handshake. That's what it was really for, making the intangible, leadership, visible. You can't spot the real muscle of Air Force One from Instagram photos. It's woven deep into the airframe. First up, Alpha November / Alpha Alpha Quebec 2-4 LAIR-CM turrets under the belly. If an infrared guided missile starts chasing the exhaust, these little domes fire laser pulses that blind the seeker faster than you can say, flare. Second, the wings hide dispensers that spit out chaff clouds, tiny aluminum fibers that blossom into a fake radar echo, luring hostile radars off course. Next comes the electronic warfare suite, a digital smoke grenade for modern combat. High-power jammers scramble hostile tracking systems so thoroughly that, on enemy scopes, the 747 simply evaporates. And if someone lights up the sky with an electromagnetic pulse, the cabin wiring is wrapped in hardened conduits. Critical avionics ride inside Faraday cage racks. Pull the plug on the grid, and this bird still keeps pumping pressurized air and secure Wi-Fi to the Oval Office in the sky. The current pair of VC-25 Alphas rolled out in 1990. Great for the Game Boy era, less ideal for hypersonic threats and TikTok speed diplomacy. Enter the VC-25 Bravo, a heavily modified Boeing 747-8. Its composite wings stretch 18 feet wider. Its GNX engines sip 16% less fuel, and its floor beams are reinforced to shoulder heavier defensive gear. Inside, broadband antennas that can stream secure 4K video from half a world away, and an open architecture avionics suite, so future software patches install as easily as a phone update. Planned rollout? 2027, after supply chain snags, cost wrestling, and one infamous incident where a contractor allegedly caught some Z's inside the fuselage. Price tag? Roughly $3.9 billion for the pair. Before you add comms and self-protection, presidential insurance premiums only go up. Myth number 1. Hidden Gatling guns pop from the nose cone. Cool movie moment, zero basis in reality. The only weapons on board are the two-legged agents pacing the aisles. Myth number 2. There's an escape pod that drops the president like James Bond. Nope. If things go south, the protocol is to land at the nearest safe strip, not eject into a thunderstorm. Myth number 3. The president can wake up, decide on a whim, and wheels up in 10 minutes. Try 10 weeks of planning, routes mapped, fuel stops negotiated, local hospitals cleared. Even spontaneity needs a memo. Air Force One's paint may look frozen in 1962, But its mission keeps evolving: deterrence by presence, diplomacy by touchdown, leadership by staying airborne when everything else is falling. So, here's the question. When the new VC-25 Bravo rolls out, should it keep that classic Horizon blue belly? Or is it finally time for a makeover that screams 21st century swagger? Drop your take in the comments. And if you think Airfroce One is wild, wait till you see how the Navy turned an aircraft carrier into a floating airport. Tap the next video, and let's keep this flight line moving. Wheels up. See you on the other side.